Hello, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon to you, Charlotte, in New Zealand. So we are back here with Yes Education Indonesia with myself, Margareta. Today we have University of Waikato, New Zealand, that will give us the update from their university about the admission process and then the programs that they offer. And if you have any question about your student cases, maybe you can put your question in the Q&A or chat box. And then after the presentation, we will address your question or your student cases. Today we have Charlotte from University of Waikato and also Suyi from University of Waikato. Okay, without further ado, the floor is yours, Charlotte and Suyi.
Thank you, Margarita. It's wonderful to see you all here. I'm going to just say a quick hello. So I'm based here in Hamilton at the University of Waikato's sort of main campus here in New Zealand. And I'm going to hand over everything to my wonderful colleague, Suyi. She's based in Malaysia, as you all know. And she's going to take the lead with the training piece this session.
Thanks, Charlotte. Thanks for joining in. I know it's been a bit tough on the technical part, but thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Right. Good morning. Selamat pagi semua. I think you can tell from my accent that I am from Malaysia, or some people would have guessed that I am from Singapore. Unfortunately, just to let you down, I'm not from Singapore, I'm from Malaysia. So yes, Bahasa is my national language and I can understand that. So I will try my very best in this presentation to be presented in English because I'm used to that language, but also a little bit of Bahasa Malaysia or Bahasa Indonesia because I travel quite frequently to Indonesia and happy to learn the language and learn some of the words. But here we are today about University of Waikato. Now, the structure of the presentation that I do today is that I'll talk about generically, very quickly about New Zealand. Then we will go to the region, the Waikato region, then I'll go to the university. And I have Charlotte here with me to support me in terms of some updates and even any additional notes or pointers that everyone should know about. All right, so we can start right now. And as Margarita just shared with all of you here, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat box, then we can address the questions later. Right. Can anyone see my screen here? All right.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Right. My name is Suyi. I am based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, look after Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. So on and off, I'll be traveling to your beautiful country for work, but sometimes even for holidays. Now, as I talk about the whole of New Zealand and as well as specifically some places of interest, I'm sure New Zealand is in everybody's bucket list as the place to go. So I will definitely, and I am not ashamed to say this, I will definitely clickbait you guys with all these beautiful pictures. It is non-filtered, all right? And it's as beautiful as this is. So if you are a adrenaline, high adrenaline person and you like to explore the beauty of New Zealand, then probably New Zealand is one of the best places to go, which is why bungee jumping is invented from New Zealand. So that's a little bit of trivia for you. And again, clickbaiting you guys, some of these places are very region specific because I'm talking about Waikato. Yeah, remember that. So these are very specific to the Waikato region. And if you are the fan of Lord of the Rings or even the Hobbits, so it's just not very far away from university. It's just 40 minutes that you get to see how the perkampungan of the Hobbits stayed over there. Then, as new students, sometimes the university would organize free trip to the Hobbiton okay, during the first week of the orientation. In fact, we will be having our very first orientation next week. And there's lots of programs being arranged for the orientation for the B semester or B trimester, which is a July intake. So yes, Hobbiton is always in the list. Now, very quickly, why New Zealand? Now, you have heard about New Zealand, the country, and I just clickbait you guys with the beautiful photos. So, in actual fact, a lot of us know about the country, the beautiful country, but little details about the quality of education, because all 8 public universities, okay, in New Zealand are listed in the QS ranking. Okay, in fact, there's a new QS ranking just being released. You can go to check out on the website. New Zealand is listed as the 4th most peaceful country in the world. Though I said over here is 2023 Global Peace Index, but in 2024 as well is in the same list. Now, we understand that in fact, all of us know about the geopolitical situation currently happening. So the interest of New Zealand has gone up, all right? So maybe you want to grab this chance. All the international students that study in New Zealand, depending on the level that they are studying, especially from bachelor's level and above, they get to stay on in New Zealand for up to 3 years. Now, when I say up to, that's because it depends on the different level of the studies. And as you can see from the beautiful pictures just now, easygoing lifestyle coupled with the stunning natural beauty. No, the country is yours to explore. So I've talked about the New Zealand as a whole. Now we talk about the region. As you can see from the map, the dark green colored, okay, region, you know, you can say it's I would say it's more than Kawasan. It's not just Kawasan, it's a region. So the region of Waikato, it's all the mother nature beautiful there. You've got lake, you've got wetlands, you've got geothermal. Now there is a lot of interest in geothermal systems between Indonesia and New Zealand. That's because in terms of geography, both countries share the same. I wouldn't say the same for Malaysia, because Malaysia somehow geothermal is not really that active. We do have hot springs, but it's not as active as some countries do. So therefore, geothermal studies is not as popular compared to Indonesia. So that's for your information. Apart from geothermal, wetlands, native exotic forests, and that is one of the reasons why a number of New Zealand universities, including Waikato, we do have courses like environmental sciences, environmental planning, ecology, diversity, and that kind of courses at undergraduate and postgraduate studies as well. So same thing on the region. So that's more on the mother nature, the beauty of it. But right now, let's talk about what is so great about the region. Now, there's 3 cities link that together, and I'll talk about it later. We're just 1.5 hours from Auckland, and the region, okay, is actually the powerhouse of dairy production. So your favorite cheese, butter, and milk is where produced in Waikato. Now, key thing is, Anchor butter is quite famous in this part of the region, right? Okay, so please go to the supermarket, take the butter, take the Anchor butter specifically, turn it back, and look for the address. It's actually produced in Waikato. So fun fact number 2. So that makes us manufacturing, because when you have a production powerhouse, so what do you need? So there's a lot of the supply chain of dairy production. I'm just quoting one example, and that makes us one of the second manufacturing as perkilangan, sektor perkilangan or perindustrian in how we say it. It's actually the second largest contributor to the Waikato GDP, and I back that with the statistic or the reference highlighted in yellow. So there are 3 cities that are linked very near to Hamilton, which is Auckland and Tauranga. All these 3 cities, you combine them together, that's 60% of the New Zealand total population. So there's another thing that you need to do, which is your homework. Go to Google, you got to find out how much is the population of New Zealand, and 60%, which is quite a huge number of it. Now, I like to talk about the other thing, which is the logistics superhub, Ruakura superhub. And you can see from here why these 3 cities that I keep talking, keep telling you is that, but because when you understand this, then you know how to approach Waikato. So you know Auckland, you know, the city where that your international flight arrive. For your information, Air New Zealand flies out from Denpasar, Bali. If not, you can fly out from Singapore. They could share with Singapore Airlines. Otherwise, there'll be other airlines, but you will need to transit in Australia. Then only you can, then only they will fly to Auckland or even sometimes Christchurch. That depends on where you want to go. So these are some of the flights, but direct will be Air New Zealand from Denpasar. I think it's quite near to some of your offices. Yes, offices, staff that is based in sometime in Semarang or even in Surabaya. So that's pretty near. Okay, so now back to these 3 cities before I ramble on again. So these 3 cities combine together 60% of the total population. Now you can see from the chart, from the picture over here, Auckland, you've got the airport, you've got the ports, and you've got the railway station. Same thing for Tauranga. They have everything except for the airport. Hamilton has none of it. But why is Hamilton in that chart? That's because we have lots of land, like a lot of land. So when you have a lot of land, what you can do? Storage, warehousing, a hub, okay? And then you coordinate all the logistic matters and you send out your goods to either Auckland or Tauranga. So what does that make it? So what does that make that 3 cities? It's like a triangle, all right? A supply chain. So that is the reason why I emphasize on this point to you first, because when you understand that, then you get to know why some of our courses, particularly supply chain management, is actually one of our top programs. Okay, so quick video of the university. I hope you can.
We are the University of Waikato, ranked #1 in New Zealand for research. Our university is recognised as one of the top 100 universities worldwide for sustainability. Waikato Management School is in the top 1% of the world's elite business schools. Our 2 campuses are located in the heart of New Zealand's thriving economy, where booming growth and abundant employment opportunities await. Join our vibrant and multicultural community, a safe and welcoming place for living and studying. We are committed to making a difference, from climate change to artificial intelligence, industry automation to robotics research, marine science and more. We are passionate about creating a tomorrow full of hope. Apply now at the University of Waikato.
Right, you saw just now we have 2 campuses in 2 cities. Like I mentioned earlier, Hamilton, Tauranga, and Auckland. So now you understand why I actually went through that slide with you, isn't it? So yes, we've got 2 campuses. The main campus, the Campus Induk, is based in Hamilton. We've got a smaller campus that is based in Tauranga City. So they are both cities. In fact, another fun fact trivia for you is that Hamilton and Tauranga, these 2 cities are the fastest growing cities. So what are the top 3 cities earlier, that you would want to know, which is Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, followed by Hamilton and Tauranga. These are some of the sustainability rankings and reputation, how we sit in and how we perform in the world, and about how we really juggle our environmental and the impact as well. So in the QS 2025, we ranked 235. Okay, that's our ranking. But I think one of the most proudest ranking that the university has is we rank #1 in New Zealand for research. Now that is based on citations per faculty member. So that's very important because that tells you how our staff, our academic staff work is recognized, okay, by the peers from around the world, from different universities around the world. That's very important because that is for someone who aspires to be an academician, who sometimes aspires to be a scientist. And when your work is referred to both academically and professionally, that brings up the reputation of the university and even the staff themselves. That also makes us effectively very high in business and economics. In fact, we were ranked #1 by the THA World Subject Ranking in 2023. So that is the backbone of a lot of work from the Triple Crown Accredited Business School, all right, which Charlotte used to be based work very closely with the business school, and she knows all the hard work that needs to be done to attain and to maintain that Triple Crown. All right. And I think another thing very important also is that a lot of our, one of the key selling point for all of you is that all our S2 programs, our undergraduate programs, and some of our S2 programs, our postgraduate program, has internships. All right. If you go to a website, if you pick out one of our courses, you will see there's a word called work integrated learning in that one little box, which I'm going to explain later. And that is the internship, because placement, internship, workplace, and all that it's all different terminology, but it's the same. So that's how the Hamilton City looked like, which you got a glimpse right earlier just now. That's the famous River Waikato that separates the city. And 10 minutes from there, you get to reach our campus. So it's quite a big campus. It's about 64 acres. And that's where we've got our accommodation, our facilities, labs, all the schools are based on campus. And you can see it's really a vibrant green campus located in the city where Hamilton is known to be really developing and a lot of activities. So, and it's a one-stop center for all the facilities that a student would want, which is on-campus clinic, cafes, bookstore, gym, and definitely accommodation. So I know clickbait again about Tauranga City, and that is how lovely and how it looks. And it's a modern city campus, smaller capacity, about 1,005, compared to our campus Indo, Hamilton. We can easily take in about 15 to 17,000 students. So that's just 10% where Tauranga City can take up. But because it's in a port city, so which means beach lifestyles for someone that loves to have more sun and more on the beach, then yeah, that would be it. That would be the campus suitable for them. But another unique selling point about the campus is that it's the fit for purpose campus. So which means if someone wanted to study about aquaculture, marine science, coastal science, that you have to go to our Tauranga campus, not the Hamilton campus, simply because of the location. And of course, it's a purpose-built campus just for this reason. Now, what if let's say you need to shuttle between these two campuses? How would you go about with that? We've got this free shuttle, Kaimai shuttle, okay, that allows students and staff to book them and then travel between these two campuses. It's free it's run during Mondays and Fridays, during the during the working hours. If it's on Saturday, Sunday, it doesn't. We don't have that services, but you can book this service for free in advance. So these are some of our subject ranking in accounting, ranging from accounting, finance, environmental sciences, law, psychology, and some of just a list of the schools that you will see on our website. But particularly, we are strong in in business, and our Waikato Management School, which is a leading business school, and that is proven by our ranking that sits very nicely in 151 to 175 band, and that makes us number 2 in New Zealand effectively, okay, under the Times Higher Education, the World University ranking. So these are the 3 crowns that we have attained, and we are still maintaining that crown, and that makes us top 1% of global business school. Okay, so we've got quite a number of courses in business, which I'm going to show in the next few slides. But these are the popular programs ranging from BA in arts, if you want to do linguistics, economics, psychology, business, banking and finance and technology, which is growing. Then we've got the computer science, engineering, health, that is in biomedical science, and another growing program like data analytics, environmental sciences, biomedical. We've got, if you see biomedical, I've got 2 Bachelor of Health and Bachelor of Science. The difference is one is more on the nutrition, about managing your health, active, healthy living lifestyle and all that. And the other one is really on the science part of it. Then we've got the Bachelor of Social Sciences. So if you're into political science, psychology, yeah, you can do that as well. All right. So Bachelor of Business, I have up to 11 majors, all right? And the few popular ones like digital business, finance, marketing. Now, we even have partnered with the Chartered Accountancy. So you get up to 9 papers exemption from ACCA if you want to. If not, there'll be some exemptions from like CIMA or CAANZ as well. These are the 8 subject area in engineering, something along the line of the typical engineering like electrical, electronic, and chemical, biological, and as well as mechatronics and mechanical as well. Computer science, recently we've gotten an accreditation from the Australia Computer Science. Effectively, that makes us our graduate industry ready, because when you are accredited by certain computer society, you've got to attain certain standards, and we've managed that. Now, I'd like to switch to the master of that was S1, but it's just a glimpse of it. But I showed the list of the BA, BSc, and social sciences as well. But there's just so many subject area that you can do. I think you've probably heard that some double major, double degree, we call it conjoint degree, or even minors, we can do that as well. So there's a lot of flexibility at the undergraduate level that students can think of. So I'll go to this S-Dual right now. So I picked some of the S-Dual courses which we are famous, including this Master of Business and Management. Now, this is a 1-year master program, 12 months, really intensive. There's 3 intakes a year, February, July, and November. And at the end of the course, you've got to do a high impact project. So we are growing you something like you become like a consultant, because you need to know everything about the business. You need to know about economics. We are talking about sustainability, leadership, marketing strategy. And at the end of the day, you're going to put up, we're going to give you a problem or problems, and you got to gather and solve the problem by presenting what would be your solution. Next program, now supply chain. So we put that in the master management, and not just supply chain. We've got agribusiness, business analytics, and project management, and the next one's coming up, which is marketing. So why is that different from the MBM compared to this one? Because master management, you get to have up to 5 specialisms, whereas MBM, it's suited for someone that is close to an MBA, but without the requirement of having an MBA requirement. Let's say, you know, the MBA, you need someone to have 2 to 3 years of working experience, plus leadership or supervisory role, where MBM does not need any of it. And MBM calls for someone from different background. Let's say you may be a graduate from engineering, and you've worked a couple of years, and you are being groomed to in the succession planning. Say, for example, you're going to become a manager. So when you become a manager, you can't be just a technical person anymore. You need to know how to run your department and work alongside with your colleagues. Some of them are senior, some of them are junior. So what makes them tick and all that? So you really need to know about the whole business thing. All right. So that we don't need someone to be at the supervisory level, but you are going there. All right. But you are not able to go into MBA yet, but you can still come to our MBM. We do accept fresh graduates in the MBM as well, just in case you wanted to know that. MOM, same thing as well, master management, supply chain management. Now, the supply chain was created sort of in line with what Ruakura aspires to. So, and now that I show you this, I believe that you understand why I keep emphasizing about Ruakura Supply Chain Hub, the Waikato region, because once you understand the big picture, and then this is the smaller picture and how it fit in. All right. So it's suited for someone who is in the mid stages of the career, wants to pivot the career to go into the management, but would like to find something that they like to learn more. Now, the one thing that's picking up is actually business analytics after supply chain. All right. And of course, Tauranga offers marketing. And if you would like to go into marketing as well, so you will need to study that in Tauranga. Unfortunately, we don't have that in the Hamilton campus. The other program that is popular is Master of Information Technology, M-Infotech. Now, that's because there is this 10-week compulsory paid internship elements in there. And we accept students from different backgrounds. Now you can see from the slide over here, someone with computing background is offered between 1 to 1.5 years. Someone without computing background, that means totally different. You might be from business, you might be from, let's say, psychology, and you wanted to pivot your career, but you have no IT background, or you have very, very, very little IT background, then you got to do a 2-year Master of Information Technology. Okay, so we wanted to customize this program and cater for people from different backgrounds. So that is why this is one of the most famous program. In fact, that's because of the 10-week compulsory leadership internship. And you are aware that in New Zealand, the green list roles that is produced by the Immigration New Zealand, ICT, they just put it as ICT. And there's a lot of roles. If you scroll down the INZ website, they will tell you what are the roles that is actually required. And therefore, that is the reason why this program is also quite popular. Before we send you out for internship, we'll make sure that you are well prepared. So we've got a module and it's compulsory. We prepare you before you go and join the internship. All other master's courses would range between 1 to 1.5 years. Some would be 2 years, close to 2 years. For example, Master Professional Accounting. We've got a 1-year program, which is a fast-track master's program. And we've got the 2-year professional accounting program. And why that extra 1 year? Because you need that extra 1 year to study part-time the chartered accountancy pathway. And that chartered accountancy pathway is packaged, even though it's part-time, is packaged together with this program. All right. So I know that some of you who are familiar with the INZ visa may say, but part-time pro studies are not supposed to be granted a visa. But in this case, because we package this together with the program, because you got to study the full-time program in the first year before you are allowed to study part-time, because you need to have that prior knowledge in your first year. Then only you sit for the professional exam in that second year, and therefore it is allowed to be packaged that way. And only this program has that kind of pathway. I hope I clarified that. Yeah. So if someone from the IT background, ICT or something else, we've got those kind of programs for them as well, like AI, psychology, environmental and society, environmental planning, cybersecurity, or in engineering practice as well. I mentioned about work integrated learning, and that is one component of internship in all S1 that the students must do. And it's that component is between 4 to 6 weeks, all right, depending on the courses. Some they need higher internship, like let's say engineering program, they have to work integrated learning in their year 2 and year 3. So that's more than just 1 semester, all right, and it's usually done during the summer. So as I mentioned, that depends on the program. But as long as they're in S1, work integrated learning, or WIL, is compulsory. And sometimes these internships may be paid, maybe not paid, depending on the roles and the requirement that is required. And right in front of you, these are some of our employers or sponsors, we call them, for the internship. Some of them may look very international to you, like KPMG, Ernst & Young, but some of them are very local, or very local, like Australia and New Zealand based. What are the entry requirements we're looking at? For those who wanted to join our S1, we're looking at SMA 3, 8,5, and we look at your ijazah, your nilai rata-rata. Probably you have heard that you can even apply a visa with your conditional offer. You've got to have a conditional offer, and that will be your outstanding thing, or that then you will be granted an AIP, which is approval in process. Yeah, approval in process. You just need to fulfill the conditions within a certain deadline, and then some of the that includes your academic conditions as well as your payment as well. All right. Now, if you're coming in to join our S2, typically grade B average, so that's about like a GPA of 3. Okay, 3.0. All right. And of course, IELTS 6.0 or 6.5, depending on the courses. So say, for example, law will definitely need higher, but generically, other generic courses like business, psychology, or even linguistics or economics, then we will just need 6.0 for S1 or 6.5 for S2. we do have scholarships. Okay, the one that is the most popular one is the VC International Excellence Scholarship for Southeast Asia. And that depends, that we look at your nationality. So what if you don't fall into the Southeast Asia nationality? We do have the same scholarship, but it's just titled as for rest of the world. Okay. If you're joining our S1, then it's valued up to 15,000 New Zealand dollars. And if you join our postgraduate, it's up to 10,000 New Zealand dollars. So these will be deducted from your tuition fee and act as a fee discount, but you need to apply after you receive an offer. So you need to do that in the system. Once you input the application, everything is done through the system, including your scholarship application. Now, what if you're not successful in either of these in this VC scholarship? We have this international office bursary that's for the students that's not successful. So the amount can be up to like 5,000 New Zealand dollars. And this has to be nominated by your by Yes Education Office, and they will inform me, and I'll get you nominated for this scholarship. For your information, all this scholarship is only deducted from your first year tuition fees only. There are other scholarships like the doctoral scholarship that is by the university, and it's up to 30,000 New Zealand dollars per year. Now, this is a very competitive scholarship because why? You need to be nominated by your supervisor, okay? And it's only 4 times a year, 3 to 4 times a year. And if I'm not mistaken, there's only like 10 places. So which means you are competing with the rest of the world. It's not just on Southeast Asia or nothing. It has to be the rest of the world. That's why, because we are basically paying you the full scholarship for your doctoral scholarship. Therefore, that's why, hence the competition. All right. Now, we do have accommodation on campus and off campus. So what is owned and managed by the university is the on campus, which is the halls of residence. And these how it look like, and it's all within the walking distance to the university, to your fakultas, okay, for your classes. So we've got fully catered and self-catered options. So what does that mean? So fully catered means your breakfast, lunch, and dinner is included. Self-catered, self-catered, no, you've got to cook your own meals. Yeah. But for both options, all bills are included, which means your bill listrik, bill air, your internet is included. It is all single room. There is no sharing. We don't do sharing. You only share like your bathroom, your living area, where you wanted to hang out with your friends, have a cup of coffee just to catch up, and before you go back to your room, we have that kind of shared spaces. Off-campus accommodation. Now, the university is surrounded, the Hamilton campus is surrounded by a lot of taman-taman perumahan. So there's just a lot of choices for you to choose. So we've got renting and flatting options. Okay, so let me explain that. Renting means you rent the entire house. The whole house is yours. So you could be with your family, or if you like to live alone, all right, that's your option. Flatting is just, that means you rent a room. Okay, that room is yours, but then you share the facilities with the rest of your housemates. Okay, and room rental is usually per weekly basis, right? So now, when it comes to off-campus, it's anything goes, I would say, because sometimes some of the landlords may include internet for you, may include the water bill and all that. So it could be a little bit higher. But if you find that some things are a bit cheaper, that's because some things are not included. So these are the things that you need to take note of. I'll go back a little bit. So you can find this off-campus accommodation through some of the sites that I showed you here, like Trade Me, Student Flats, NZ Flatmates, all these are resources that you can look for. So just to share a little bit, how's the rental weekly look like in Hamilton and as well as other parts of the city in around New Zealand. Now you can see these kind of the cities that is named over here are where the rest of the 8 universities are located in. Bay of Plenty, that's the Tauranga region. Hamilton City, that's where Waikato is based in. All right, so that was last year's figure, but it doesn't run away that much. All right, so it tells you Hamilton City, as compared to a lot of other cities, we are very, very affordable. Right, Now, if you travel to the university on your own without your family members or no one is accompanying you, we can offer the free transport service from Auckland International Airport and bring you all the way to the Hamilton campus. You got to book that at least 7 days before you are supposed to arrive to New Zealand. We make sure that you are well and okay, not just all right, but make sure that your well-being mentally and health on the health side, you are doing well as well. And that's why we always tell students, if you've got time, please join clubs, because that's where you will know friends. And who knows, maybe you know more than friends, these are your business partners or even your life partners. For undergraduate students, S1, we have this option called Study Abroad and Exchange, which means you can take a gap year and after your year 2, okay, before you come back and do your year 3 studies back in New Zealand. So we have a division. We have an office called the Global Experience Office. You can meet them, talk to them if you like to go for these kind of options. We've got quite a number of alumni, and currently some of them are still studying with us. So one of the notable alumni recently, which is Devika. She is based in Bandung, and guess what? She won a cosmetic startup business organized by the Kementerian Perindustrian, and for her cosmetic line called Kiora. You can watch her video on the internet, and she actually explained how she set up and how was her experience studying in Waikato. And this group of happy faces students on the bottom right, that's our very first and probably our very last ISMA students that we have in Waikato. You've probably heard about Menaki Scholarship, which is the government scholarship by the New Zealand government. So we do have welcoming and completion ceremony. So it's like we are sending them off, after they've completed the studies. For those who are interested to do the PhD in Waikato, you will need to look for your staff, okay? Contact the potential supervisor, get in touch with them, research about the areas that you need to do research on, and you need to get an invitation to apply from your potential supervisor before you are being given an offer. It's all on our website, how you apply. So you just follow the steps and you won't go wrong. Post-study work, some of you may be, or most of them probably you are aware, and as I mentioned earlier, it has to be from bachelor's degree level in order to be eligible for a 3-year post-study work visa. But some of it, you are only eligible for 1 year, all right? So please take note of that, because that's due to your the duration and the level of the studies, all right? Jacinda Ardern, which was our former Prime Minister of New Zealand, so she was the alumni of the University of Waikato. Similarly, the gentleman who's holding a plaque, he is the head coach of the All Blacks, which is the rugby sports. So back in Indonesia, badminton, can I say, that is almost your national sports, right? Similarly for Malaysia as well, but in New Zealand, that's the rugby. If we don't have time, that's you can just follow us on some of the social media. Some of the social media are managed by the university, and sometimes it's taken over by the student just to showcase the experience. But otherwise, please contact your Yes Education office contact and get to know more about university. If not, then I'll see some of you very soon. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Suyi, for the explanation. I think it's very informative, the things that you share about the Manaki that we are able to assist. And so after the presentation, we can go to the Q&A session. For our attendee, if you have any question, please to submit your question in the chat box or Q&A box. Or if you want to talk directly with Suyi or with Charlotte, please raise your hand so we can ask you to unmute. Okay, maybe while we are waiting for the question to come in, as you are aware, maybe in Indonesia, usually the student graduate the high school, they are still under 18. Could you please share about the under 18 process And then if they want to go for the July intake, you said that they're able to submit for the approval in process. So could you also please elaborate about the application process? Is it the same as the usual student visa application, or is there something different in there so that we have to take notes before we submit the visa for AIP?
Okay, I'll explain about the visa AIP first. Okay, so the process is the same as the usual visa. All right, it's just that AIP means okay, AIP is almost like a back an insurance, if not a security for the student, because just in case they are afraid that they might not get the approval, the visa approval. All right. So this is a very unique arrangements that a unique option given by Immigration New Zealand for students to just apply, see if let's say your application gets through, and it is true, they will let you know what are the conditions that you need to fulfill. So most who opted for AIP are tuition fee payment they have not paid to the university. So let's say one student apply and they get an AIP, which means approval in principle. Yes, sorry, it's not approval in progress, but it's approval in principle. Sorry, the terminology just ran my head. So AIP, so they got the approval in principle, hence the name. So in principle, I approve your visa application. Okay. Tapi terma syarat is you must pay your tuition fee. I want to see your tuition fee receipt. So this student will, and you will be given about 5 to 7 working days to come back to the same officer, email the proof, whatever mode is that, email the proof of receipt. That is the only thing that is outstanding, and the student will get the approval. Usually the student will get the approval. I would say it's a 90%. That 10% is the payment, that receipt. Okay, so this is a very common practice in South Asia. All right, and in fact, some students are starting to take this advantage as well because they think that will I get approved and all that, because just in case mungkin dokumen salah ataupun dokumen yang kurang betul, okay. So but then again, as Yes and even your partners over here, please take a lot of care in your visa application documents, because you know that when you apply for visa application, you will need to pay a fee. I think it's $750 New Zealand dollars now. So it's not as expensive like going to Australia, but it's still an amount, isn't it? So you wouldn't want to waste that $750. So that is what I mean by taking care of the documents, making sure that you fulfill all the documents that is needed. They have a checklist. Immigration New Zealand has a checklist that you can actually download from the Immigration New Zealand website. Go through that checklist. If you go through that, you won't go wrong. All right. So that's AIP for everyone. Similarly, for students with, let's say they want to join the July intake and they are waiting for the ijazah. So I believe the ijazah sometime will only be issued sometime in June. Say for
July.
July, yeah.
June or July. Okay. Now, for us, our intake starts in early July. And we are able, for certain courses, okay, for certain courses, Charlotte, I think we can say 90% of our courses, right, that we allow students to arrive late. So I'll use this current July example. So the current July example, the intake is next week, all right, which is orientation. And we allow students to arrive as late as 18 July. 90% of the courses. What happened to the 10%? The 10% are teaching, or maybe some other very specific courses. So that will be like, I think accounting or something like that. But let's say 18 July, you can arrive late. So for students like from SMA 3 waiting for the ijazah, maybe their result only come out somewhere I do hear that they can issue sometime in June, which I pray for that it will happen lah, because July will be very hard. Because July is the 18th is the utmost date that they have to arrive, because anything that is later, they won't be able to catch up with the lesson. All right. So if they can, let's say by early June, they got the ijazah, quickly submit that. They can apply for AIP first, get the AIP, all right? Then the moment it comes, that result, quickly finish that result and payment. All right. Then usually they will get, my case, the student get the approval within like 1 to 2 days.
Ah.
This is a very good arrangement, AIP is a very good arrangement. In fact, earlier days, I think it was early, even the February intake, last year July intake, condition, INZ wouldn't even allow the with conditional offer, you can apply for AIP. But this July, they allow it.
Ah,
So we
okay.
hope this is going to be a continued process for the next intake, which means it's next year lah, will be next July, because this will be a like you can say a test drive how it works for the conditional offer, all right, and also because I think the Immigration New Zealand saw how Australia is doing it, because Australia you can apply with conditional offer kan.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So this is a very good example. So you need to advise, I mean, with your agent network over here, please, the timing is very crucial, all right? So you know that the student, if the AIP is based on the last results and as well as the payment, then get ready these two. So the moment you get the AIP bayar, then the result together hantar. Then they will get the AIP, they will get the visa approved very fast. As I said, my case, I got one student, 1 day. Today I submit, yes, tomorrow she got the approval, she got the visa. So this is very impressive. In fact, I've got a lot of feedbacks from a lot of agents around this region. They're very happy with how INZ actually changed the way they work post-COVID. And these are the things that we see why the interest to New Zealand has grown. I wouldn't say exponentially, but it's a happy growth. Right. As for the under 18, okay. Now, there is a law in New Zealand that says if they're under 18, they've got to do the homestay. All right. And of course, they need to sign, as parents, they need to sign the parental consent letter as well, okay, because they're under 18. Now, you may say, but if let's say a student intake in July, this July, they only got a couple of months going to be 18. Like, let's say, the birthday is on 1st August. All right, going to be 18. The university can, all right, accept the student to come to our student accommodation. Sebab the intake date is early July and the birthday is in August. So there's this gap of about 1 month each. All right. So as long as the parents sign the parental consent letter, that is fine. They're aware of it. Reason why, because our student accommodation is for adults like 18 and above. We've got 2 separate accommodation. One accommodation is for students 18-ish. So fully catered option is highly encouraged because we don't expect them to know how to cook like a master chef. All right, even adults like us, we can't even be a master chef. Okay, let alone like a 18 tahun. Yeah. So we've got that accommodation for the student, take the fully catered. So that is one part that you please advise the student to take that option. Okay. Then there's another option is for adults that even S-status students will not get the accommodation. They will not get. Because those accommodation is meant for students that is fully catered. They really have to jaga sendiri. All right. We've got a kitchen for them to cook. So the S-status students will not get that kind of accommodation. But the S-status, this only for S2. The S-status will get the fully catered. Usually we will try to give the fully catered to the S-status students looking at that age. All right. And Charlotte, do you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I was just going to add about the homestay piece. So we actually do our own homestay program. It's all in-house within the accommodation team. So they do all of the police vetting, they visit the families, they make sure that everyone is a welcoming and a safe place for the students. So it's all done in-house with our accommodation team here. It's not something that we use like an external provider or anything like that. So if they would still be applying to stay with the university accommodation, it'd be an application through our team or through the accommodation team. Yeah. So just wanted to reassure that that's something we have major oversight over.
Okay, so for under 18, for the accommodation, it will be assisted by the university. And then
Yes.
the university will allocate whether the student can go to the on-campus accommodation, the housing one, or go to the homestay, depend on the availability, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, I think it's connected with the next question from our attendee.
Mm.
For accommodation, is it guaranteed for international students and is it only for first year or they can stay for the whole duration of study?
The accommodation will be prioritized for first year for international students. We'll prioritize it for first year. So we encourage the students once they get an offer, accept the offer in the system. We don't ask you to pay, we just accept because without accepting, the student cannot move forward to apply accommodation. So it's like you're stuck, okay, if you don't respond to the offer. Because and also in the system, if you don't respond to the offer, we will send you reminders, like 2 reminders. If you don't respond from the 2 reminders, obviously we will put your status as inactive. Okay,
Ah,
right. So if you have this kind of case, you gotta let me know. Then I will ask the admissions to active ballot your case. Then only the student can progress. All right. So I think this is one thing very important. Then so the student apply the accommodation within that deadline. Usually they will get their priority first, second, third choice. So but we have a lot of choices, so they need to select all the choices. So don't leave empty. So fill up all the blanks. Okay, fill up all the selection. They have to fill up because the system won't move. Okay, so they have to fill up the blanks, the drop down, whatever, to semua fill it up. Okay, so that as an accommodation officer, takkan you just give me one choice. The second and third choice kalau sudah habis, right? So you are helping the officer to place you an accommodation with us. So that is what I have been telling all the agents. So you have to remind the students and remind your agent network on that part. Yeah. So yes, we will make sure the students will stay with us for first year. All right. First year, we will make sure that international students priority for that. They can't stay for the whole duration of study, but they can reapply.
okay.
They
Okay,
can
so
reapply.
it's like a yearly contract and they need to
Yes.
apply, get the
Yes,
spot again.
correct. Yes, it's yearly.
Okay.
We have separate, they can also buy the linen pack and kitchen pack, which is separate from the accommodation fees because it's optional kan, up to the student. So we don't tell the students you must buy. But some students, they want to buy it because convenience, but that's fine.
Okay, I see. Noted. I hope it's answering all the question about the accommodation. And then now we have the next question. For Indonesian students that did not achieve the minimum 85 in average, can they
Mm.
go through foundation first?
The answer is yes. The another thing I wanted to add on the entry requirement apart from SMA 3, we also accept students from IGCSE into the foundation.
I see.
I believe you also work with Navitas, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, you
Yes.
can contact Vicky from East and West will be Fendi on that part.
Okay. And then the next question, do you accept applicants who have a visa refusal? I think it's maybe from another country or also from New Zealand.
Okay, I have to explain a little bit on that one. It depends on what kind of visa refusal that, I mean, you answer it correctly, Margarita, that depends on which country. Because I do have cases as well. Student has got their visa rejected in Australia, has tried to apply in New Zealand. That's fine. Okay, that's because it's probably due to the financial documents not correct or something else, as long as it's not fraud. Because fraud, you'll be surprised, New Zealand and Australia, the government, they talk to each other. Because I've had a case A student tried to apply in New Zealand, apply in Australia, it was on a fraud case. Then we found out it's actually fraud case, and guess what? The student could not get an offer, all right? Let alone if the student wanted to try other New Zealand universities, the student couldn't get an offer as well because it's already blacklisted. Yeah.
So it's linked actually.
Yeah, so very, very important. If you are being refused due to they say, oh, your document, your money not enough, fine. I think money not enough is fine because you can put in more money, right? But kalau document yang fraud punya, this is very serious.
Okay, noted on that. Okay, I think we don't have any more question from our attendee. And as usual, we will upload this recording in our YouTube channel so you can revisit again for our attendees if you want to, maybe you forgot something and then, or maybe your colleagues wants to know, can just visit our YouTube channel. And then, so you please don't forget to share the PPT so that
Oh yeah, I'll email it to you.
our recruitment partner also. And if you have any student for our attendees and the students really wants to meet with Waikato reps to have further discussion, maybe more in-depth about the program, please do not hesitate to contact Yes Education. We will liaise with CE to arrange the online meeting. Okay, I think we are on time, finish.
Oh, really? Oh, that's good. That's nice. All right. So thank you so much, Yes Education, Margarita, Farid, for having me. Thank you to all who attended the session today. Sorry, Charlotte got cut off because the internet connection on her side, so she apologized for that. But thank you so much for your support. And like Margarita said, please contact Margarita or any of the Yes Education officers, the contacts, if you need to have a session with the parents, yourself. I'll be happy to do that and support you guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Suyim.
Thank
you,
you.
Thank you.
Right.
See,
Thank
thank
you.
you all.
Right. Bye.
Bye. See you in our next webinar.
All right.
Bye bye.